Welcome back. In the previous class, we have observed that if we have real numbers that is represented by R, and if I define the distance between any two real number by this is called absolute value, then I can define the notion of the convergence of sequence of real number. And for that, what we have observed that in order to define the convergence, somehow I need the information of the limit of that particular sequence. So in other words, to test for the convergence using the definition, whatever definition we have talked, definition is in the previous class is looks like this. Suppose that if I have some sequence and I'm denoting that sequence xi from I equal to 1 to infinity, and this is sequence of the real number, and we are telling that that sequence will converge to some point x0, and basically suppose real line I am denoting by r here. So either you can denote by r or you can denote by x, that doesn't matter. And after that we are telling that for every epsilon greater than 0, and after that we are talking about there exists some natural number n, and that natural number is function of epsilon, such that we have xi minus x0. X0 is the limit point that is less than epsilon for all I greater than equal to n. In this way, we have talked about the convergence. And if you see this definition carefully, it is necessary to have at hand a candidate for the limit of the sequence. So if I do not know this limit x0, then it is very difficult to define the convergence in this particular real number or real number sequence of real number. So here information of limit is required. So information of limit is required in order to talk about the convergence. So we are basically talking about the convergence of sequence. So we are talking about convergence of sequence, and here sequence is the real number. And in the next part of this course or today's lecture, you are able to see that basically same kind of things I am going to generalize for the nonlinear space. Due to that reason, I am giving lot of time for this development. If you understood this development, then in non-linear space, it is pretty easy to understand all the development. Now, suppose that I do not have limit, because in many cases we generate a sequence xi without knowing to what, if anything, it might converge or not. Because suppose that whenever we are doing mathematical modeling, we are developing some kind of non-linear differential equation, but we do not know that how basically solution will proceed with respect to time. So sometimes solution may converge, may diverge. So basically we are not knowing the limit. Thus, it is desirable to have a criteria for the convergence that does not involve a candidate for the limit. So in this particular criteria, limit is essential, but now we have to reformulate the definition where basically in order to define the convergence, requirement of limit is not necessary, and due to that reason new concept comes into picture that is called Cauchy sequence. So basically whenever we are talking about convergence, then we know one the limit point, and after that we are calculating the distance of each sequence from that particular point. So my reference point is fixed, and from that reference point we try to see the distance of the all sequence I equal to 1 to n. So somehow we are seeing the distance with respect to some fixed frame. And next definition, which basically comes into picture due to relax the above assumption of limit. So in that particular definition, we are going to talk about the two sequences, and we are assuming that two terms eventually get arbitrarily close together. It means that if I consider any two sequence, so all sequence as time is going to evolve, that is going to come closer together, and in this way I can relax the assumption of the requirement of the limit. So let us now try to see the definition. So this sequence is basically called the Cauchy sequence. So a sequence is a Cauchy sequence if for every, so same again I am talking about terms of epsilon, there is a natural number n such that now you can see that here m and n are the particular term of the sequence. So we are seeing the relative distance between any two terms. So in first case we are talking about the absolute distance. Here we start talking about the basically the relative distance. So we are going to talk about the relative distance because I am interpreting this particular term in form of relative distance. Due to that reason I am commenting like this. But in first place, if we are just talking about the convergence, at that time you can able to see that here I am basically talking about the absolute distance. So basically this particular thing is nothing but we are talking about the absolute distance. Absolute means I know the limit. So that is the difference between the convergence of the sequence and Cauchy sequence. So first type of sequence is called convergent sequence because we are seeing the convergence with respect to the limit point, and this particular form we are telling like that is the some new new thing come into picture, and that new thing is nothing but the Cauchy sequence. So I have convergent sequence means we are seeing distance from the limit point, and Cauchy sequence means we are seeing the relative distance of two sequences. So it is possible to show that if some sequence is convergent sequence, then that is also a Cauchy sequence, and it is pretty easy to prove this. So initially here you can see that in this proof I am assuming that xn is converges to x because I have convergent sequence, so I know the limit. So I can write that for every epsilon there exists some integer n or natural number such that this kind of things happens. Here I want to make my ball some more smaller because initially we are talking about epsilon, but one can talk that I am going to construct my ball that is more closer to the limit, and that is epsilon by 2. So now you can see that suppose that if I have m and n, these two are the sequence at m instant and n instant, then I can use the triangular inequality. So somehow I am making relation between Cauchy sequence and convergent sequence. So basically I can further able to write like this by triangular inequality, and finally I have epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2 because we are knowing that means if some sequence is convergent, then finally that is going to lie inside this ball epsilon by 2. So by triangular inequality I can write that this is less than epsilon, and in this way I can prove that every convergent sequence is also a Cauchy sequence. Now let us see the converse. So here basically I am talking about sequence of real numbers, so converse is also true. It means that every Cauchy sequence is also convergent sequence, but generally this is not true. But if we are just dealing with sequence of real number, then I can talk like this. But we are not sure. Suppose that if that sequence is generated by some function, some matrix or something, then I am not sure, because if we go to higher dimensional space, then same quantity I can represent by column vector. We have seen we can represent by matrices, we can represent by polynomial, we can represent by functions. So at that time we have to carefully look about this point. But it is obvious that all convergent sequence is always Cauchy, but Cauchy sequence may or may not be convergent. Now due to this reason I have one next definition that is called completeness. So meaning of completeness is like this, that we are talking about that in completeness we are talking that every convergent sequence is also a Cauchy sequence, or vice versa. We are also telling that the convergence of Cauchy sequence is a fundamental defining property of real number that is called completeness. Somehow what we are telling that in real number, if we have series of real number, then all Cauchy sequence is also convergent sequence, and all convergent sequence is also Cauchy sequence. Due to that reason we are telling that somehow real numbers or line of real number is complete. Now let us see some kind of example. Obviously if you see the sequence, and with this xn is defined like log n, so this is not a Cauchy sequence since as n tending towards infinity, log n is tending towards infinity. Here you can see another thing that if you see the distance between two sequence, somehow for this case that is tending towards 0. So by seeing this, one can confuse that this sequence is Cauchy sequence. Due to that reason, in order to see Cauchy sequence, we have to basically look about some more point, because just seeing these two I cannot tell. So due to that reason, this example shows that it is not sufficient for successive term in sequence to get arbitrarily close together to ensure that sequence is Cauchy. Because in order to make this definition, what we are telling that whatever result that should be true for all n. So due to that reason, we are now going to state some alternate definition. So we can use the definition of convergence of sequence to define the sum of an infinite series as the limit of the sequence of partial sum. So what basically we are telling that suppose that if I have sequence which contain the infinite many terms, and if you just consider the partial summation means I will truncate that sequence and consider the terms up to n, and if I will define this kind of summation, so this is finite summation, and if this finite summation s that is converges to limit some limit s, then we can say that series means whatever original series or original sequence xn that is converges to s, and we can able to write like this. So in this way, by partial sum we are able to find the limit when, because basically I have already told you that sometime limit is not known and it is very difficult to wait till the summation of infinite sequence. So now question is like this: by seeing some kind of finite summation, is it possible to talk about some generalization or not? And if that partial sum will diverge, any partial sum will diverge, then we can told that basically that particular sequence means main sequence is going to diverge. So in this way, in absence of limit also, using partial sum one can able to give some kind of conclusion. Now let us talk the some more definition, that is about the absolute convergence. These kind of terminology is basically used during the machine learning and any course of engineering. Basically we are using these kind of terminology, so you have to become aware about the exactness of this terminology. So the series, actually each term of xn is called sequence, and whenever we are making summation, then we are talking in terms of series, that is form a series. So that is the difference between sequence and series. So is said to be absolutely convergent. So whatever series, suppose I have sequence xn and I am going to make summation till infinity, and if I have to talk about the convergence of this particular series, and in place of xn if I use absolute value, because here everything is just a real number, because we are talking about talking whatever result we are talking, that is we are talking in terms of the sequence of real number or series of real number. So basically I'm talking about those part of mathematics which deal the real analysis. So this is called absolute convergence. So absolute convergence always implies the convergence, but convergence may or may not be absolute. So by checking absolute convergence also, I can talk about the convergence. So first way by partial sum we can talk. Second way using the absolute convergence we can able to talk. So till now we have discussed about the convergence of sequence of real numbers. Now it means that we are in one dimensional space, and we have already know that everything is very simple in one dimensional space. And why we are telling everything is simple in one dimensional space? Because we know that in one dimensional space, if you see the geometrical figure, then everything is represented by some kind of line. So basically I have just two direction, either I can move in this or I can move in this way, or I become static. And here I can incorporate distance by absolute value. So I have well known notion of the distance, and somehow this notion is very unique. But if we move from one dimensional space to two dimensional space or higher dimensional space, then basically things is no longer simple. Similarly, I have infinite many notion of the distance. It is possible to define distance in different way. Due to that reason, here distance is also not unique, and whatever representation, because we have already seen that in two dimensional space I can represent one point either by column vector, by matrices, or by some kind of function also. So representation is also not unique. So due to that reason, I have now flexibility in representation as well as flexibility in distance. So due to that reason, whatever things that is very simple in one dimensional space, that is not going to become same simple in the higher dimensional space. So in order to talk convergence in higher dimensional space, so I can talk convergence in metric space also. So if you are willing to talk about the convergence in metric space, at that time you have to define the distance in terms of metric. So basically, if you talk about the metric space, then at that time somehow you have to talk like this. So in metric space we have set together with distance, that is called metric. So similar kind of convergence I can talk, but I have already told you that most of time whenever we are dealing with the engineering problem, at that time I have basically the space that is called linear space together with the notion of distance. So that is nothing but non-linear space. So non-linear space is the set with two operation, and after that distance here I am going to see in terms of norm. And in previous class what we have seen that this is set with two proper operation, that is linear space. So and after that I have notion of norm, we are denoting like this. So if I have 2 points, if I will take any arbitrary 2 point in this space, suppose I have 2 point I am going to take, that is looks like this, x and y, then this define the distance in non-linear space where x and y both belongs to this linear space. So now whatever result I'm going to talk, either you can think in terms of non-linear space or metric space. If you have to talk in terms of metric space, then just you can remove these two operations and convert metric norm by metric. So same result is going to hold, or same kind of definition is going to hold. So now let us talk the convergence in a non-linear space, because this space is quite useful for the application purpose. So again, if you see the definition, so definition is somehow looks in this way. I can define the definition, and definition is now like this. We are telling that a sequence, and now you can see that this sequence, whatever sequence I am going to talk, that is again, that is looks like the sequence of the real number, but that is not the case here. If you represent your space where every quantity in terms of the some kind of column vector or some kind of function, then you are able to see that, suppose that if I am in two-dimensional space and something is evolving, so at this point I have two different independent quantities required to represent this. So one I and second is x2I. So I have basically x-axis as y-axis. So basically here xi contain some kind of column vector that is like this, x2I. Similarly, I can generalize this for n dimensional space. Suppose that if instead of I have 2 dimension, if I have n dimension, so at that time xi is x1i, x2i up to xni. So this is the sequence now. So and if you are varying I from 1 to 2 infinity, then somehow you are able to generate some kind of sequence. So here whatever sequence I have written here, xi is now a vector, or you can also interpret xi as some kind of matrix also. So a sequence xi in a non-linear space is said to be converged to x0, and here I am interpreting for our purpose, I am interpreting xi as a column vectors. So my space is filled of the column vector. So I am assuming that whatever linear space that I am going to talk, that linear space is basically that contain this all vector in terms of the columns. So now that is going to converge to some point x0. So basically x0 is here limit, and again limit x0 means now I have x10, x20, xn0. So x0 is some kind of vector, because I am assuming that this space contains the vector as a column vector, and again definition is remains same for every epsilon there exists an integer, and that integer is the function of the n. And here in place of absolute value, now you have to take the norm. So now here you are able to take any kind of norm, because if you are in finite dimensional space, so somehow all norm will give same kind of convergence. So due to that reason you are able to use any kind of norm here. So same kind of means definition I have extended for the nonlinear space by replacing the absolute value by the norm. Similarly, if you are talking about metric space, then convergence in metric space, here in place of linear space you have to substitute by set, and here you have to substitute by metric, but definition remains the same. So now I hope that you are able to understand this definition, because you have already understood the definition. So now in case of the real numbers, since we have one dimensional space, so we have understood the definition by geometry very easily. Here I am going to interpret the definition of the convergence. So what we are telling, that the sequence of vector, because I am talking about the column vectors, and due to that reason I can talk in this way, that so interpretation remark, we are talking about the interpretation of the convergence, and I have many interpretation, so at least I will talk about two different interpretation. So what we are telling, the sequence, and in sequence I have basically this sequence is sequence of vectors that is denoted by xi. So either you can write sequence like this or this, that doesn't matter, converge to x0. X0 is the limit point if and only if the sequence of real number. Now what we are assuming, that each entry of the vector is somehow real numbers. So, and in another way, if I will calculate the distance xi minus x0, so that is vector, but once I will apply this kind of operator, finally I am going to generate some kind of real number at each and every time converges to 0. So basically we are talking in terms of epsilon, and epsilon is very a small quantity. So I am assuming that that is very close to the 0. So practically we are at the 0, and I have alternate interpretation of the same definition. So alternatively I can also interpret this definition in terms of the ball, and somehow notion of ball is very important, and we will see that during the definition of stability, because that is the one of the main concern of this course. Due to that reason we are learning so much, that how to define the stability. So in order to define stability, these concepts are required. So alternatively we are telling like this interpretation, let B, so we are talking about some ball, where center of ball is x0 and radius is epsilon, denote the ball in non-linear space X, and we are defining ball from the above definition of the convergence only. So we are telling this ball Vx0 epsilon is now defined like this. So X that belongs to X such that X minus x0, and here we are going to take the help of the norm, and in this way we are defining the ball. So this is the definition of the ball, and after that what we are telling that if some sequence is going to converge, then somehow I have this ball and I know the radius and center of this ball. So x0 is the center and epsilon is the radius of this ball. Suppose that some sequence x1 is generated here, then next moment, and this is vector, I have x2 something like x3, and similarly after the large time n is some number that is greater than n, and there is function of epsilon, means if epsilon ball is very tight, means very small, then I have to wait for very large time instant. And after that what we are telling that suppose that at some moment I have sequence that is x n plus 1, all are very close to, or all will lie inside this particular ball. So the sequence xi converges to the x0 if and only if for each positive epsilon, means, and I can vary this epsilon, the ball, whatever ball for particular epsilon I have made this ball, contains all but a finite number of element of sequence. It means that in this sequence I have infinite many element, but after some time what happens, all sequence is basically going to fall inside this ball. That is the another interpretation of the convergence. So what is the beautiful outcome here? Beautiful outcome that I can define the notion of ball, and I have already told you that ball doesn't means that I have something like a spherical ball. Has now we are talking about ball which can have any shape, that may be point, maybe a straight line, maybe of a spherical shape or some other shape, that doesn't matter. Now in same way as the real number, what we have observed that in that case I, in order to define the convergence, I need the notion of limit. Here also I have to know the limit in advance to talk about the convergence, and most of time it is difficult to tell that I know the limit in advance. Due to that reason, again second definition, that is definition of the Cauchy sequence, that comes into picture. So again definition remains same as the above, just in place of absolute value we have to talk about the norm. So we are telling that a sequence xi in non-linear space is said to be a Cauchy sequence if for every epsilon there exists an integer, same like the previous definition, such that this relation is going to satisfy. Means if you take any two sequence, that is going to come closer and closer, means they are going to to arbitrarily closer to each other. That is the definition. And again, what we are telling that thus a sequence is convergent if it terms approach arbitrarily closely a fixed element, whereas a sequence is Cauchy if it terms approach each other arbitrarily close, closely. So let us write this kind of things in terms of remark. Then you are able to understand the difference between the convergence sequence and the Cauchy sequence. So what basically we are talking like this. So I am writing this kind of things in form of the remark. So let us write in term of the remark, and remark is that a sequence is convergent if its terms approach are arbitrarily closely a fixed element, and that fixed element is the limit in the higher dimensional space. So in this way we are also able to visualize the limit in higher dimensional space, whereas a sequence is Cauchy if its element or terms approach each other arbitrary arbitrarily closely. So in this way we are able to distinguish between Cauchy sequence and convergent sequence. Now let us try to see the relationship, and again relationship remains the same, that every convergent sequence in, in a non-linear space is the Cauchy sequence. So relationship is that every convergent sequence, and space we are talking about the norm linear space, and basically that is the Cauchy sequence. So please be careful that whenever we are talking about the sequence, at that time we have to very much specific about the space or set or in terms of metric everything. Now I am not going to prove, because proof is exactly same as the in case of real number. So but I am going to discuss the main theme of the above theorem. What basically above lemma shows that if the element of sequence are getting closer and closer to a fixed point, then in this process they must also getting closer and closer to each other. Due to that reason, we are telling that every convergent sequence is also the Cauchy sequence. Now, one of the obvious question, that one can ask whether the converse is true or not. It means that if the element of sequence are getting closer and closer to each other, are they in fact getting closer and closer to a fixed element or not? And if you see the answer, then answer is basically no. That if two elements are getting closer and closer, then I cannot tell always that also going to closer to a fixed point. That is not obvious, and most of time that is not true. But some non-linear space have this kind of special property that every Cauchy sequence in them is also the convergent. So without knowing the limit, I can proceed now, because somehow two sequences are going closer and closer, and we are knowing that in some non-linear space has this kind of property that Cauchy sequence is also convergent. So finally we are able to approach towards that limit, and that is very important property to solve any nonlinear differential equation, because somehow if we are able to show that whatever differential equation I'm going to take, that solution is function, and that function is lie inside nonlinear space, and if all Cauchy sequence is also the convergent, then we are able to show that whatever the response or final solution of that particular differential equation is going to converge towards the some fixed function, and we are able to get the final form of that function. In that way we are able to solve the nonlinear differential equation also. Due to that reason, this property is very important. And I have already told you that this property is not always true for all kind of nonlinear space, but those nonlinear space where this kind of property means all Cauchy sequence is also convergent has a special name, because we have several use of that, and that have a special name, and that is called complete nonlinear space. So I have complete nonlinear space, and sometimes people are also telling this as a Banach space. So I hope that now you are able to understand the meaning of this space, because several times whenever this terminology comes into picture, then students stop reading. They are thinking that, oh, something hi-fi things comes into picture, but things are very simple. We are just telling that if something is approaching towards each other, then finally they are going to approach towards a fixed point. That is the meaning of the complete nonlinear space. So a nonlinear space is said to be complete nonlinear space or Banach space if every Cauchy sequence in that means that nonlinear space converges to an element of X. Means we are able to get the fixed point, and due to that reason, this Banach space are very important. And suppose that somehow if some nonlinear space is not complete, it is possible to show that adding some element I can make a space as a complete space, means Banach space. So that is the another area of mathematics where we are talking about that how to complete the incomplete nonlinear space, or how to make Banach space. And things is only that if something is getting closer, means sequences are getting closer, then I can talk that finally we are able to converge towards a fixed point. Now let us try to see one example, and after that I will close the today's lecture. So now what I am going to consider, I have considered a bounded bounded interval R in R, and I'm considering some kind of continuous function which map from A B to R. So we have already considered this kind of things. So suppose that we have some kind of function I'm assuming. So I have, suppose, some function like ft. So basically here I'm assuming that t lie from A to B, and actually this function f that map from A to B to R. So, and this function I'm assuming the continuous function. We know the what is meaning of continuous function in at least in one dimensional space, that if left hand limit, right hand limit, and limit at that point equal to same, then we will tell that some function is continuous. And from this today's class you are also able to understand that how to basically we are formulating the limit. So in order to formulate limit, we have to first formulate the sequence, and we are making n that is tending towards some quantity, and after that we are able to find the limit point. So now basically we are defining function like this. So now I'm going to define the norm, because we all already know that whenever we have function means function in some space, and if I will consider the pointwise addition and scalar multiplication, then that is going to form a linear space or vector space. And if I have closed interval, then function has always some kind of maxima we are assuming, otherwise I will convert maximum by supremum. In that way I can able to define the notion of norm. So I have now a space, linear space with norm, so that is nothing but I have norm linear space. So same kind of things I have written here. Note that a sequence of function, so now since function is changing with respect to time and time is changing between this interval A to B, converges to a function. Since now we are talking about the convergence, so we are assuming that function is going to converge to some function. Similarly, vector is converged to some vector, matrix is converged to some matrix. Due to that reason we are talking about convergence of a function if the sequence of the real number, because this is the one dimensional function. So finally at each and every time moment we are getting one number, real number, from the function, and that is, since we are assuming that is that is means that is convergent if for all t a and b that is uniformly converged to that particular point. And from the advanced calculus we are also knowing that if original function x I is continuous and the converge is uniformly, uniformly means for all t between a to b, then limit of function is also continuous. In another way, this situation is looks like this, that if two things is going to converge towards each other, then finally that is going to converge from the limit point. That is the meaning of this part. So somehow, since in this space we have able to define the vector space or linear space, I am able to define norm using max function, and after that we are able to talk about the limit, and we are also able to talk about the convergence. Uniform means for 2 point always, as time is going to increase from A to B, that is going to come closer and closer. So that is nothing but Cauchy sequence. And since we have limit, so we have the sequence is going to converge there. So I have convergent one also, and somehow you can also visualize like this, because in the first part of this lecture I have told you that whenever I have a real number, then convergence convergent sequence and Cauchy sequence, all convergent sequence is Cauchy sequence and Cauchy sequence is convergent sequence. Similar kind of situation here is involved, because as a and b is going to vary, then function ft is going to generate some kind of real number. So somehow all property of real number is going to hold here. Due to that reason, all Cauchy sequence is also convergent. Due to that reason, this space is the Banach space. So due to that reason means most of time whenever I have some first order differential equation, then I can hope that most of time we have certain kind of solution, provided that whatever function that is going to generate from that solving of that differential equation, that has limit. So with this remark, I am going to close the today's lecture. So what we have observed till now, that whenever I have some space, so inside a space I can add the notion of distance, and using that notion of distance I can able to talk about the convergence, and somehow using this convergence I am able to talk about the solution of the differential equation, or several other quantity we are able to talk about the limit. So these kind of, due to that reason, we are also based on this definition we are also able to develop the notion of ball. So due to that reason, this part of the course is very important. So thank you very much.